Members, on our agenda is recognition of our outgoing members. What will happen here is I'll recognize a board member, and Brittany and I will alternate. And as I got a little, we prepared a brief little kind of statement. We're not going to be able to cover everything and all your accomplishments, but we hope our comments will reflect the work that you have done and serving on the board. Again, we have at the end of our meeting another opportunity for comments, but we'd like you to, if you want to take the opportunity to speak after your recognition, you may, or you can pass to the end of the meeting. So I'm gonna go first here, and one thing that I hope I can get through it. These are always hard for me. These are not goodbyes, but it's see you later, because it always happens. We still see you around in the education community, and you're passionate about it. And you know, I don't know if it's watching a lot of Hallmark movies or something, but sometimes my eyes just leak. So if I end up turning my viewer off, it's because my eyes are leaking. And I don't even have a Kleenex around here, but I do have a few masks I could use. So thank you. First of all, I'll just get started. Board member Lorianne Thorpe, District 3, was appointed by the governor in February 2020. Although her tenure has been short, it has been impactful. Lorianne came to the board with a deep background in special education and advocating against child abuse. Her extensive knowledge and efforts have been a major asset for an area in education that needs strong advocates. She helped the board with navigating major changes in the special education manual and provided a much needed voice for our most vulnerable student population. She also partnered with school counselors to improve child abuse prevention work in schools and worked with USBE staff to discuss options and opportunities. In her time on the board, she served on the Law and Licensing Committee, participated in NASB LEAP cohort, and provided key input to the SHARP survey. As a board member, we have had the privilege of engaging with her warm and kind demeanor and benefiting from her expertise. We thank her family for their support as she worked to make remarkable difference in the lives of so many students in Utah. Lorianne, we thank you for your service and look forward to seeing you often as a continued advocate and voice for Utah students. Board member Thorpe, thank you again for your exceptional service. Board member Thorpe, if you'd like to comment, you may.
Well, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that. That was an unexpected kindness. It's been my absolute honor and pleasure to serve on the board. I wish my term had been a little longer, but I like to think of it as a condensed experience because I probably had quite a few more board meetings than anyone who's served as short a term as I have. So I'd like to think that it's been a pressure cooker situation, but I have thoroughly enjoyed every minute in my association with all of you and state board member staff who are just phenomenal and really are the reason that I even threw my hat in the ring when this opened up, because I so honor the work that they do every single day. Our USBE staff is just outstanding. And I saw firsthand when I worked there, of course, that how everyone just just works every single day so hard to ensure the best possible outcomes for students in the state of Utah, and always at the forefront of every meeting, every conversation, every interaction. It's what is in the best interest of kids. How can we best support kids, especially at-risk kids or kids who don't have the same access as others? And it's just been a phenomenal experience for me. Thank you for inviting me and for teaching me how to be a board member and for mentoring me. All of you have done such an incredible work to help support me in that way. So thanks again, and it's been my honor.
Thank you, Board Member Thorpe. Brittany?
Hey, my mic was quiet earlier. Is it picking up okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, good, because the world has to hear this, okay? Jennifer Gravitt, District 4, is completing one term on the board after winning her election in 2016. Jenny joined the board coming straight from the field and has been a fierce advocate for teachers and students. She's been a leader in shaping an in-field perspective that the board has benefited greatly from having. She has spent countless hours working with USBE staff and others to ensure that the work being produced has an eye for real-life implementation and impact. She also has done invaluable work in making sure our underrepresented students are seen and heard. In her time on the board, she has served as Standards and Assessment Committee Chair, represented the board on the Utah Underage Drinking Prevention Program Advisory Council, Teacher of the Year Selection Committee, UPAC Process Review Task Force, participated in the NASB LEAP cohort, and participated on the Eliminating Barriers Task Force and the High School Graduation Course Requirements Task Force. She has done all of this with tenacity and grace while still maintaining her full-time teaching position and doing so in rock star fashion. We are so lucky to have her with us. She is truly the board member Teacher of the Year, if ever there were one. Thank you, Jenny.
Board Member Gravitt, do you want to comment?
Oh my gosh, you guys, Brittany, I wasn't going to cry, and now way to go. Now I'm getting all weepy, but I'm going to try not to cry, but I just want to say quickly that, oh my gosh, for somebody who had no idea she was going to do this, I think it was the day before the filing deadline, somebody called me up and said, hey, would you consider filing? And I said, I could do that. Well, you know, I did it, and here I am, and it's been 4 years later. And I was actually thinking the other day, you know, what was before Jenny like as opposed to after Jenny? And I thought, well, before Jenny could see, she didn't need glasses. Before Jenny didn't have gray hair. Before Jenny was 20 pounds lighter. Before Jenny, oh, here's one. Before Jenny would see an exit sign like the one by Hillfield, exit 404, and she wouldn't think to herself, R277404, requirements for assessment for student achievement. Oh my gosh. I see exit signs now and I'm like, board rules. But you know what? After Jenny, I had no idea I would love this so much. In my 9th grade class, I was voted most shy and most talkative. And I don't know how those two things come together, but when I care about something and I care so much about all of you, and I have such admiration for the work that you as board members do and staff. I don't think I've ever met such brilliant people in my life. And I've enjoyed learning from you, and I am so much, after Jenny is richer in her connections. And I'm going to miss you all so much. And it's like, yes, I'll have more time, but my heart hurts. But anyway, it's been such an honor to work with all of you, and I'm really going to miss you, and I'm going to keep following you, and I have a whole new appreciation. And thank you so much, everyone, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Board Member Gravitt. Next, my privilege here, this will be Board Member Sean Newell, District 10, was appointed by the governor to the board in February 2019. He was brought to the board with the deepest community experience we have ever seen in a board member. He is truly a man who is known and seen everywhere, as he has strived to bring the whole child perspective into a new light. The students of Utah have been well served by his efforts to make sure our efforts as a board consider all community aspects together rather than taking a siloed approach to how a student can be given every possible resource. His dedication to closing achievement gaps across student populations will be work that we anxiously continue to move forward. A great example of this is when Sean took the time to sit down with a post-secondary transition specialist and talked about the successes and barriers he's experienced in preparing and hiring individuals with disabilities in the field. And then he gave USBE staff the contact information of individuals in the field that they could work with to improve the workforce pipeline for students with disabilities. In his time on the board, he has also served on the Finance Committee and participated on Public Education Funding Study Group. Board Member Newell, thank you for your exceptional service. Board Member Newell, do you want to make any comments?
Yeah, I'll try to make it short too. Thank you. Thank you very much. This has been one of the greatest experiences of my life to date. Having an opportunity to gain a greater understanding of the hard work that the state board does and the intersection that so many aspects of this work have in touching our community beyond just when the students are active in school, but into their lives and creating the people that are going to be able to help us to develop a world and a country and an environment that's conducive to everybody being as one, as human beings here in our lives. I don't plan on being gone forever. I just take on other assignments and choose to continue to see where I can impact education in a way that's positive and also in a way that is understandable for all of our community stakeholders. We're working now on equity, and this is a hard lift for everyone. And it's difficult for people to understand, but we have to go to the hard, difficult places and have those hard conversations for us to be able to grow as individuals, to be able to gain that understanding of what equity is and how it impacts us every day in our lives. So I really look forward to the efforts that the state board is doing right now as far as equity goes. I really look forward to the continued work that you all do. I mean, the entire team should just get kudos. I don't do much. It's the team of the state board that makes all the difference in the world. And our populace needs to really understand that, they really need to take the time to step back and see what type of work is being done and see how they can be a positive influence and assist with the work that's being done in a way that's conducive to being able to help these action plans to be able to come to fruition. So I implore our community to stand behind our State Board of Education. I just can't tell you enough about the relationships that I've developed, the guidance I've received from so many of you, the help, and I'm hoping that you'll still lean on me to be able to assist you as we move forward as a state. So thank you again. The bell is wonderful. My wife told me do not use that bell on her, and I'm going to try to comply with that. But I want to thank everybody for your mentorship, your friendship, your relationship, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Board Member Newell. Vice Chair Cummins. Your mic isn't on, Brittany.
And it was sounding good
Now
too.
it is.
Okay. Sorry, Mike. Mike Haynes, District 11, was appointed by the governor to the board in August 2019. Mike came to the board having risen to the top of grassroots-based involvement that brought him to education in unexpected ways. His love for the local perspective and the on-the-ground efforts of our LEAs has served the board well. Mike has maintained a close relationship with all of the LEAs in his voting district in a way that is unmatched. He truly is a man of the people, looking out for the students, families, teachers, and stakeholders in his area. He has always been on the ready to meet the needs of those he represents and to make sure they are kept in the loop. He even recently engaged with a teacher in his voting district that wanted to bring the legislative process to his students. Mike single-handedly coordinated USBE staff to provide legislative process education, coordinate possible bill sponsors, and is now assisting 3 high school classes in bringing to fruition actual bills for the upcoming legislative session. He will stop at nothing to bring the process to the people. In his time on the board, Mike has served on the Law and Licensing Committee, represented the board on the USBE IT Governance Council and NASB Bylaws Committee, and has served as liaison to the State Charter School Board. Thank you, Mike.
Board Member Haynes, would you like to comment?
Yes, thank you, Chair Huntsman. Thank you, Vice Chair Brittany Cummings. That was very kind. This has been a great honor and pleasure to work with all of you in doing such great work for the great kids of our state. I love helping kids. I love education and the value it brings. And I'll miss working with you and doing the work that we have done. This year has been quite the year with a lot of firsts. I think it was Chad Carpenter from Ogden that said it's the first year for everybody this year. I thought that was a great quote. No matter how long you've been in education, it's a first year for everybody. But there were a lot of firsts this year, and what a great staff at USBE who have all stepped in and given 110% to do what was needed, and their effects have been felt everywhere throughout the state. And one thing I do want to say, as great as it is to be in the schools and visit with such great people, our teachers are wonderful. I love them. Can't say enough good about them, and the administrators that continue to give and do all they can to meet the needs of their students. One of the greatest honors for me is to accept all of the thank yous that come to me in behalf of the board, and that's been a lot of fun. And the work that is being done here on the board and by the staff is appreciated by so many, and those thank yous may not come to you directly, but as I've said, they have come to me often. Every time I enter a school, people find ways to recognize the great work that's being done by you and our wonderful staff and so many. So that's been probably the biggest honor that I've had in serving. And thank you again for your friendship. Great people, some of the greatest people I've ever worked with right here in education. So thank you for all you do. And like Sean said, it's not goodbye. I'll still be around and hope to see you often. So thank you again. Thank you, Chair.
And thank you, Board Member Haynes. Next, Board Member Marsh, District 12, was appointed by the governor to the board in August 2019. Mark came to the board after serving on his local school board and with his service with USBA, bringing with him a wealth of knowledge and experience regarding the local school board perspective. We as a board have been so lucky to have Mark bring his knowledge and shape into policy and rules that have moved forward. We are also lucky to have Mark, who has become the unofficial seconder of the majority of our board motions. He never skips a beat, making sure our meetings keep moving. He truly shows it's the little things that matter. Mark also has been willing to step in and provide staff with countless hours of feedback and perspective. He even spent time in the standards committee to more fully understand recommendations being made by the Student Advisory Council, with 2 student presenters being present. He took care and time to make sure their perspectives were heard and understood. In his time on the board, he's served as vice chair of the Standard and Assessment Committee and represented the board on the Utah Rural Schools Association board. Board Member Marsh, thank you for your exceptional service. Board Member Marsh, do you have a comment or choose to comment?
I do. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your service and for your guidance and leadership as I have served. I am thankful for the opportunity to have served here and have loved every minute of what we've done. A special thank you goes out to board leadership for fitting into a shorter term than normal, almost as many meetings as a 4-year term would have with the pandemic that we have had. I'm especially appreciative of Superintendent Dixon and all of the staff that we have. My wife is a teacher and she loves what she does and spoke highly of many people. And I heard these names thrown out. I've been to a meeting with so-and-so and so-and-so called today and let me know that this was happening. And as I did that, when I sat down and started my work here on this board, it was interesting to put a face to those names that my wife highly revered. I'm appreciative of what each and every board member brings to the table because there are so many perspectives. Having chaired the Utah School Boards Association group, it is amazing that we can run a group as big as we do and try and keep focused on what we're doing with so many different perspectives, but yet we do that with respect and civility amongst each of us. Very appreciative of that. When I first started as a school board member on my local board, I had many people asking me to run when our board member was on the wrong side of the line for when the district was realigned. And I said, I really don't have an interest. And then finally I gave in and said, okay, if nobody signed up by the noon of the last day, give me a call back. Well, they all called back and I said, okay, I'll go down, I'll do it. And I thought I'll just do it. They'll get on and get signed up, and then hopefully somebody else will win and I won't have to do it. But having gotten on there, I noticed the difference of what a board can do and why we're here and why we do what we do. We're trying to make a better place for our youth and a better nation and a better country and a better world coming up. So appreciative of everybody for your friendship and love and kindness and the preparation that you have for our meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board Member Marsh. Vice Chair Cummins.
Scott Nielsen, District 13, is completing 1 term with the board after winning his election in 2016. Scott came to the board a veteran teacher and continued his journey moving into the administration of his local school district. His continued growth and expansion within public education has proved the board with a unique perspective that has been vital in shaping the decisions that the board has made. He was instrumental in the decision-making process related to board rules and policies governing the distribution of funds to LEAs. He also made a positive difference to LEAs with his input and suggestions to the board for improvements to the teacher supplies and materials funding distributions. Scott is also a dedicated member of the military, where his love and respect for his nation has come to infuse his work with the board. He has advocated passionately for students and parents with a focused eye on how the work is implemented and the water is carried to the end of the row. In his time on the board, Scott has served as Vice Chair of the Finance Committee, participated on the UPAC Process Review Task Force, represented the board on the Assessment and Accountability Policy Advisory Committee, and represented the board on the Utah Rural Schools Association Board. Thank you, Scott.
Board Member Nielsen.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't expecting this, but it's been a pleasure. I'm really humbled to have had the opportunity. I hate getting emotional, but humbled to have the opportunity to work with each of you. Board member, there's still much work to be done, and I'm extremely confident in the board's future success. I really am, and I've been humbled to be a part of this important work and the work that has been accomplished over the past 4 years. I'm passionate about the great work of public education, the crucial role it plays in the preservation of this republic. And you board members, regardless of your political persuasions, have enriched my life and made me a better person. And you know who you are. That's all of you. We all want the same thing, and that is the success of Utah's most cherished resource, and that's our beautiful school children. Today, I'm really grateful this time of year, but I'm extremely grateful to God, my wife, and each one of you. And I will continue to work tirelessly for the board's success behind the scenes and for Utah kids. It's been a passion of mine. And, since I was young, since those teachers that I felt like when I came from a broken home, those teachers that really, in many ways, saved my life and helped me to become the person that I am today. So I love each one of you, and I'm grateful for your friendship. So board members, public education is great work, but let me assure you that I really, truly believe that our best days are ahead of us, and it's been my pleasure to work with each and every one of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Nielsen. Okay. Next, Board Member Michelle Boulter, District 15, is completing one term with the board after winning her election in 2016. The board has been so fortunate to have such a passionate advocate for parents' rights in Michelle. She joined the board after co-founding 2 parental rights groups and has been true to her mission in making sure these rights are protected. Michelle also has fiercely advocated for local control and making sure our LEAs maintain the most control of education for their local constituents. She has infused our discussions and decisions with an eye towards these important issues, leaving a long-lasting legacy reflected in the board's policies and rules. Michelle has spent countless hours working with USBE staff and stakeholders to ensure the important rights of student data privacy were also protected. She also spent the most of any board member when it came to traveling and reaching the room where it happens. This fact, and I think most of you recognize she lives in the very southern part of our state there. This fact never deterred her, and she has always made sure to show up for her duty as a board member. We will greatly miss her unmatched dedication to the work this board does and the impact on the lives of families. In her time on the board, Michelle has served on the Finance Committee and Audit Committee, served as the chair of the Law and Licensing Committee, participated in the NASB Government Affairs Committee, and participated on the Eliminating Barriers Task Force. Board Member Boulter, thank you for your exceptional service. Board Member Boulter.
Thank you. This has been kind of a bittersweet. I don't know.
We can barely hear you.
Oh.
Sorry.
You hear me better now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. No, what I said before was really good. I have been on kind of an emotional roller coaster, realizing that my time on the board was going to be ending because I've loved serving with all of you. So I've been really sad to leave, but then I've also been really excited to be able to return back full time as a mom to my one son that's left at home. My other 2 are going to be leaving, and I'm looking forward to what's up next in my life. I'm going to be a grandmother. Can you guys believe that?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to spending time with my future granddaughter that will be born in April. And I have loved serving. I've loved serving under one of the best board chairs, which was Laura Belknap. She gets things, going quick. And I've enjoyed the Finance Committee a lot more than what I thought I would ever enjoy. And I've enjoyed serving all of you and learning and being stretched. And I hope that I come out of this experience a better person. And this definitely isn't goodbye, but it's just a see you all later.
Thank you, Board Member Boulter. Before we move off this agenda item and we have other time at the end of the meeting and board member comments and my chair comments to talk more about where we're going. But before we leave this, Superintendent Dixon, did you have a comment or some comments?
Yeah, just on behalf of staff, hopefully we have the opportunity to reach out to all of these board members personally, but I just want to thank you for your, try not to get emotional. As staff, we consider you to be our friends and our bosses. It's a little odd to have 15 bosses, I'm not going to lie. But I love that I get to know you as people and individuals, and then see you collectively bring your perspectives together to do what's right for our students. That's such a marvelous part of our process. And it's messy sometimes, and it can be frustrating and emotional. But at the end of the day, you all come together to create policy. And we love being a part of that and supporting you in that process. And as part of that process, we really get to know you as individuals. So we have this collective love and appreciation for you. And we have this individual love and appreciation for you. And you all have really big shoes to fill. All of the outgoing board members are just people we love and admire. And we're here as your supporters in the future. So if you ever need us, look back on us, your staff, your prior staff, as friends and fans. And thank you so much for your service to our students and our educators and staff. We so appreciate every little thing that you've done, whether it's been public or very private. We get to interact with you privately as well. And we know the dedication and time you put in to trying to understand processes and what our staff does and what's happening out in the field. So just can't thank you enough. And this comes from me personally, but also all the staff that at the State Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, but we still have work to do today. You guys, the outgoing board members, you're still board members till the end of the month. I'm not sure how many meetings we'll squeeze in, but we do have this one. So I'm looking forward to your participation.